So before I start this video, it's been a while since I've done affirmations on screen with you. Of course, if you're new, you'll get a hang of it. I think we should do it now. What do you think? Do you believe in affirmations? Let's do an affirmation for the day, okay? And I think mainly it's because I'm seeing them. They're sitting right there. All right, so these are affirmation cards. There you go. So let's quickly do an affirmation of the day. This will be our icebreaker for our video. I promise it won't be long. Okay. So the idea is to shuffle, choose this one. And we're gonna read it together, okay? Let me first show it to you before I read it. You are allowed to take up space. You are valid. So real fam, I guess there's a message to you and me that you are allowed to take up space in everything that you're doing in life. Whether you want to start a YouTube channel, or whether you want to start a new job, whether you are keen on starting a new career, you are allowed to take up space. Also, if it means taking up space is within your current role, taking up space is within the work that you're doing, just know that you are valid and you are allowed to take up space. And I love that taking up space because it's so important for each of us to understand that taking up space also requires you to be intentional about what you're doing, to be intentional about the person that you are and what you're willing to take in and not take in life. So also to take up space, it shows that you have the desire to grow, the desire to showcase what you're capable of, to give it your all, but also to not only excel, but to showcase what you've learned, what you've acquired. You're not gonna acquire skills, real fam, for the sake of just acquiring them and that's it, okay? Anyway, this video is not about that. We just happened to read this affirmation, so I'll just leave it there. I can go on and on, but I hope you get the glimpse of it. I guess if you're here, it was meant to be, so yeah. Okay, let me finish my coffee and we'll start. I did that intentionally. I love me some good cappuccino. That's me right there, okay? And I'm also realizing that I did not tend my diffuser. So this is from, hi Bo, what's up with the focusing of this thing? Oh, Kelly. Oh, it smells divine. It smells divine. I actually need to restock. Oof. Smell it, can smell it. All right. Are we ready to start the video? Are we ready? Let's go.
A few moments later.
Hey Real Fam, welcome to another episode of Sis Give Yourself Grace, the healing edition. So we can call it the divorce edition or healing edition, so your choice. I think we've been talking about healing lately and the healing edition kind of makes more sense, but I think because it's based on divorce, we can just call it the divorce edition. It's still okay. Whatever feels right, so you can comment whichever one you want. But we are closer to ending our short series, so we are left with 2 to 3 episodes. So it could be 2, it could be 3. So yeah, that's that. But I hope you've been taking something out of the past 2 episodes. If you haven't catched up on those, I'll appreciate if you do. Please, it will really mean a lot to me because I also want you to understand why we're having this conversation and where it's coming from. So yeah, make sure that you are up to date, okay? I'll appreciate that. I promise they're not longer than 40 minutes. I think if it's long, it's just just over 40 minutes, of less than 45 minutes, let's just say that. Okay, this one will probably be the shortest, so yeah, stick around, watch and enjoy. And if you're watching from Spotify, thank you so much, real fam. I appreciate you. Hope you're driving safe if you are on the road. If you are listening in bed, I appreciate you. I hope you take something out of this, and do remember to review and follow. Don't just watch, okay? Or don't just listen. And of course, my real fam on YouTube, please do subscribe if you haven't. Engage, comment. I'd appreciate if you engage and comment, okay? I think that's what we're trying to do here, to bring more engagement, to just hear your thoughts, because this channel is not just about me, but both of us. Okay, I think I talk too much. Let me get straight to the point. So what are we talking about today? I'm gonna share some of the things that I feel like I should have done better. And real fam, this is not in any way to say that my content supports divorce or supports breakups or anything like that. I'm just here to share my experience. I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm not here to bring any harm to anyone. I'm not here to speak ill of anyone. This platform is not about that. If you are expecting any negative vibe, I'm sorry, this is not your platform. You can try next door, but that's what we're about here. If you know me, you know, okay? If you don't, you'll get to know me, so stick around. So one of the things, real fam, that I regret not doing in my marriage was talking to my mother. I struggled to talk to my mother, to share with my mother things that were affecting me. It was hard for me to express myself to my mom, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I struggled to talk to my mom is because, like, if maybe I'm experiencing a challenge or I feel like I need the motherly advice, it's because I had a conversation with God and said to God, God, please make me the change that God, please make me the change I wish to see in the family. God, help me to bring change in my family. That meant, God, please make sure that I do not see my mom in pain. I do not see my family in pain overall, but especially my mother. And please, God, make sure that the only tears that I'm going to see from my mom are those of joy, not pain, not sadness. So that's something that I had declared, something that I had made up my mind on. And I was like, God, please, this is what I want. So one of the reasons why it was hard for me to speak to my mom, even during my relationship, even before marriage, I mean, you know, in relationships, there are times where things just aren't going great and you wish you could speak to someone. I couldn't. I'll probably speak to my sister or my cousin or maybe a friend, and that would be fine. Or of course, because I did a lot of counseling, but that happened while I was engaged and yeah, through marriage. So yeah, so for me, it was not easy to speak to my mom. So why I regret that is because, you know, there are times, real fam, where you feel like a situation really needs you to speak to your mom. You can speak to a friend, you can speak to a counselor, a therapist, whatever, but you feel like you just need that motherly love. And sometimes not for your mom to give you solutions, but just to be your mom, just to hold you, or just say, you'll be okay, Wanaka. You'll be okay, my child. You know, something like that. Not necessarily to do much, but just to be there. But because I was in that space where I felt like I don't want to bring in pain to my mom, I don't want to worry her and all of that, so I kept things to myself. or I would share with a friend. But often I would maybe keep some to myself, all right? So real fam, something that you need to take note of is that when I pray to God and ask God to help me to be the change, to actually be that strength to my family, to help my family, I actually meant, God, make sure that I'm able to handle everything. And I think that's where now things really went south later in my life. Listen to me, real fam. I have no regrets whatsoever for the role that I've played or the role that I'm still playing in my family. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But as you grow, you realize that sometimes the things that you do aren't actually the best way to do them, or you shouldn't always focus on wanting to be strong. Because I feel like, I believe that I was kind of the strongest in the family, because if something needs to be fixed, I would raise my hand, I would jump in. And I would like to believe that for my family, it somehow seemed as if, okay, no, at least she has it figured out. And when I mean she has it figured out, meaning she's okay, she's strong enough to be able to, make decisions or whatever. But unfortunately, when it comes to relationships and all of that, that's where now things are bona. Mjolo hauna formula, mjolo hauna re you are what. Marriage, relationship, it has, like, it doesn't matter who you are, the kind of strength that you think you have. If it's gonna affect you, it's gonna affect you. So I think, real fam, when I got to a breaking point, and this is why I started the conversation around the saying that says, even the strongest break. This was taken from me always wanting to be strong, or always being strong. And when I feel like I was breaking, it was hard for me to reach out to people, to reach out to my family, to try help me or whatever. And because I've been this person that they reach out to, not me doing it the other way. And of course, real fam, before it wasn't like that. So when I started my first job, it was in university, when I became a tutor. And I remember at the time I was earning about 750. So real fam, I wanted to start helping out and all of that. And I think that kind of brought a bit of ease to my family. And I've always wanted to help and just to lend a helping hand. And I think it kind of made it easier for my family, my siblings, my parents, to kind of think that, okay, no, she's okay and all of that, okay? Which I was most of the time. It's just that, yeah, matters of the heart, you'll be weak. You'll be weak, and yeah, you'll need help, okay? So I hope you listen. I don't mean to be all over the place. I'm just, yeah, I didn't put out pointers, but I just hope you making sense of what I'm saying, real fam. And okay, maybe let me not confuse you much with, populating too much information of what happened, whatever. Let me go back to what I said initially about me regretting not telling my mom. So real fam, it was January at the time, a month before I moved out of my marital home. And for some reason, my cousin happened to be around our estate. He was visiting his friends, and I happened to see him, and we kind of had a moment. And I think that was the time that I got to even tell him about me leaving my marital home. So he was one of the few people that knew what was happening at the time. It was still fresh, real fam. So we had a conversation, and mind you, this time This was just after my parents found out that we are divorcing. So we had a brief conversation, and I'll tap back to how the conversation happened with my telling my parents and all that, but let me start with this one. So while we were having a conversation, I was telling him that, it was so hard to tell my mom about my divorce and all of that, and that really didn't sit well with her. But I was trying to protect her because I had said it and put a stamp on the fact that the only tears that I want to see from her are those of joy, not pain, and nothing like that. Oh, my cousin said something so profound, and it's still, it stuck by me, and it's still there to this day. My cousin said, I understand that you want to protect your mom. I understand that you are not telling her what you're going through because you don't want to bring her pain. But what you're not realizing is that you are taking her role. You are taking away the role of a mother. You are taking away her role as a mom. You are taking away her responsibility, because whether you worried about her being okay or her with her problems, that's none of your business. It's her problems. But she worries about you as her child. So you cannot deny her to play that role. Instead, you think you're protecting her, but instead you are hurting her. Yeah. Right there and there, I was like, what? I actually didn't read it this way. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it in that way. And that's when I realized, real fam, that all this time, not talking to my mom, not sharing with my mom how I'm feeling, the fact that I'm not okay, not only am I hurting her, but I'm taking away her responsibility. It's not my responsibility to take. It's her role as a mother. At the end of the day, I'm a child. I'm her child. So that's her role, to be there for me. So she was in pain. When my mom found out, she was in pain. She didn't understand it. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. She didn't get exactly what was happening, how it happened, and all of that. And I don't blame her, because even throughout my marriage, even when I felt like things were not going great, I wasn't talking to her. And that also goes to my dad, the rest of my family, because I didn't talk much. I didn't talk to them much. I mean, I could talk to a friend and all that, but I really didn't talk much with my family. And that, I feel like I regret not doing. That's the part I regret not doing. And how my parents found out. So my intention was to tell my parents that we're getting a divorce after I've moved out. That was my intention. But I'm glad it didn't happen like that. So my ex-partner beat me to it, because when he started telling his family, now they had to start having a conversation with my family. So right there and there, I was left with no choice. I had to tell my family. I'm glad that he started, right? Because it helped me to speak to my family. And real fam, we are from different worlds. When you meet a partner, both of you are from different worlds. And for me, things that were bothering me was the fact that this will hurt my mom, right? I don't think it was fair for me not to tell my family earlier. It was not fair for myself, for the relationship and all of that, and for that process and all of that, because I think he also wanted me to tell my parents first, something like that. And it was so hard. Real fam, it was so hard to tell my family. I'm telling you that it was December holidays. I went home for Christmas, for New Year's. I spent the entire festive with my family. For them, they assume that everything is fine. I'm still happy in my marriage. And only to find that I wasn't. So I spent the entire festive season, real fam, faking my smile, pretending like everything is okay. But a mother, your mother always knows. Your mother always knows, real fam. Your mother always knows. I remember when now we started talking, and I'll tap back to that. What my mom said to me, like now when all the news were out, we've talked and all of that. She said, there was a time during the holidays, I asked you about your husband. I asked you something. I think we were watching TV at the time. I don't remember what she asked exactly. And she said, the way you responded, it got me worried. When I say that your mom always knows, your mom always knows. That's why my cousin's words hit me so bad. Because why? My mom really felt something was off. And also that brought her pain. Anyway, fast forward, we're going to the end. I think this is the main thing, real fam. I think this is the main story of this video. So this one day, it's my mom and I and my sister. We go to town, right? We're going to town. My sister had to do her hair. So Nale Mama, we went to the grocery stores. She wanted to buy a few things. So we were there. She got whatever she needed. And then we got something to eat. And then after that, we were still waiting for my sister. She was not done with her hair. And I was like, no, let's just go sit in the car and wait for her, because I think it was around about month end, and my feeling and month end, yay, it's always packed and all that. And one thing about our parents, real fam, if your parents is from like the village and all that, even if there's like a mini complex, your mother would want to go straight into town where you pass passages and all of that. She'll tell you, I want to go to Boxer, I want to go and you're like, Mama, Pick and Pay is here. I want to go to Boxer. And my mom has a business at home. She sells sweets, chips. She does what's that, makuinya, fat cooks at home. So she's a businesswoman. She's like, no, I need to go to that store. So we were going there and there, okay, fine. Fast forward, we got a moment to be in the car. And when I say, real fam, that God works in mysterious ways, I mean it. God has a way of making things right. And real fam, while we were waiting for my sister, at that moment, as we were sitting in the car waiting, I think something in me or God was like, it's time for you to tell your mother everything. Real fam, I don't know, you would swear that my sister was probably listening to us to make sure that we have this conversation, we finish it. Real fam, I started unpacking everything, bit by bit. Like, I started unpacking and telling my mom everything, apologizing to her that, okay, I didn't tell you because, I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to see you cry. I didn't want to see you in pain. I didn't want you to worry and all of that. I unpacked everything, real fam. And I could feel the weight, getting off my shoulders and getting a sense of peace and relief in my heart. Because my mom, I won't say a parent would understand immediately, whatever. But real fam, based on our conversation, her responses and everything, I felt like I was getting the hug that I needed all this time when I was going through a situation, and I felt like I needed to speak to my mom, but I couldn't because I just didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to see her cry. I didn't want to see her worry. As I spoke to her when she was responding and just us having a conversation about this, I just felt like I'm getting a warm hug from her and God, both of them hugging me and making me feel okay, or telling me that it's okay, you are okay. Real fam, that was the most beautiful moment for me. And I'm saying I regret this because I really robbed myself that joy or that warmth of a mom when I feel like I needed her the most. Had I maybe spoken to her then, you'll never know, maybe things could have been different. Chances are I could still be married. Sometimes we overlook our parents' guidance. We overlook our parents' teachings or our elders' teachings. Even though I feel like when I began to say, okay, the marriage is done, we are divorcing, at that time, I don't think anything was going to change my mind. But I think during the marriage, when things were not okay, if I was, as much as I would speak to friends, I don't think it's the same as talking to a parent. I feel like maybe something could have happened there. I don't regret that my marriage got to where it is now. I think there's always a lesson to learn. There's always, not me saying lesson. There's always a lesson to learn from any experience. I have no regrets whatsoever. I believe that I didn't get into marriage being a perfect person. I believe that as much as I felt like I fought for my marriage, I believe that I could have somehow used other tools. As much as my fighter was God and going down on my knees, also I could have gotten guidance from my family. I couldn't even tell my dad, because if my dad knows, my mom will know. Obvious. He's gonna tell his girl that, hey, our little girl right there is going through the most. You see? So I didn't want to do that. So you see, I robbed myself an opportunity to get that warmth from both my parents, especially my mother. So real fam, what's the takeaway from this video? The takeaway from this video, real fam, is that do not rob your loved ones an opportunity for them to be there for you when you need them the most. Do not rely so much on your own understanding and want to do things your way just because you feel like it's the right thing to do. Sometimes it's not always the right thing to do. Sometimes it's not always the right thing to do. Seek help, seek guidance. And sometimes, real fam, if it's hard for you to tell your immediate parent, your mom, find someone like a relative. Because I remember tapping back into this. I remember I told my aunt before I told my mom. My aunt broke the news to my mom as well. Well, not broke the divorce news, but broke the news later to say, hey, she did tell us what was happening, but she was waiting for the right time to tell you. It's painful that your mother has to hear from other people that, okay, so all this time my child was going through this and that. I'm not gonna cry, but my eyes are red. It's evening. I don't know why my eyes get so red. I'm not gonna cry, but yeah, it's painful for your parent to find out from other people that you were going through what you were going through. And that time, yene, as your parent, they didn't know. All this time they think their child is fine. So that was painful. But the happy ending was that I got to have a moment with my mother, speak to my mom, share with my mother why I didn't tell her when I should have, and to also tell her what was happening in my marriage, why I left. And I'm so glad the response or the feedback I got from her as a mother really was a hug. I felt like it was a hug for me, a hug that I needed all these years when I was going through the most. I'm not saying all the years of my marriage were bad or were sad, whatever. There were great, beautiful moments. I was happy in love. I was happy to be married. We had great moments. Yes, if I have to weigh the great and not so great moments, honestly, the great moments are here, and the not so great moments are there. And I remember one time having a conversation with him and saying that if I had to write a list now, the good will be lesser than the not so great. Yeah, that's how it was. But nevertheless, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he saw a wife in me. He saw someone that he can spend the rest of his life with. I'm grateful that I got to experience that with him. And I can only hope that there's something good that came out of it. I don't know. Divorce is not good, but I can only hope that when we were existing together as one, there's something positive, something good that came out of it. The good that I think I also took, something that my ex is very amazing at is his spreadsheet skills. Yeah, your Excel, his skills there are just amazing. And that's how we used to like do our budget. So I took that. That's something I took, and I'm still doing that. Every month I go through my budget. It's something that in our marriage he introduced, and then we started doing it together and all of that. Of course, when we started working through our finances together, we did that, and I took that. Another thing is, as much as we always had disagreements on the driving and all of that, every time when I drive, every time when I'm approaching a robot, I would always make sure that I slow down before. I know this is like a normal road sign rule, that just because the robot is green doesn't mean that you can just drive in fast. You can just slow down as you're approaching the robot, just in case another car comes. But I know that I would be driving sometimes and he would remind me of that, to say, you're approaching the robot, slow down and everything. So sometimes I would think about that. So there's a lot of positive things that I've taken from my marriage. That's why I'm not a bitter ex. That's why I still wish him well. That's why I feel like sometimes we are brought together, or we are together for a reason, to teach each other something for that season. So I believe that was its season, and unfortunately that season expired. All right, but that does not mean you override the good that happened in that season. Okay, so that's me, that's how I feel. But yeah, without going on and on, I hope that you took something out of this, and I hope that you are going to take this as a lesson as well, in case you are so focused on being strong and not understanding that even you, the strongest, you'll break at some point, and not understanding that there are certain roles that are not yours, that are not meant for you. There are other people that have been purposefully given that role. Is their purpose, is their role on earth to do that. So don't take away the role of your parents. Make sure that you do what you need to do. You get your healing, you speak, you get help. If there's a way to save your relationship, your marriage, do it. Do it. Maybe the sooner you do it, maybe it could get help. If you feel like there is no hope and all of that, seek guidance. So sometimes, the only advice you need is that of your parent. I know that they cannot make you take the decision, but sometimes you just need that. You need that warmth from your family. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how you feel about this. I would like to hear your thoughts. How do you engage with your family? Are you open to your family? Are you open about your relationships? I mean, I'm 37 now, and real fam, if I had to meet a guy now and date, and of course maybe later he decides, okay, I want to make you my wife. Listen, real fam, even introducing him as a boyfriend, it will still be, listen, I was married, but that respect, not that it's a bad thing, but I still have that respect for my family. And there's that shyness of, listen, of feeling like, that's me. I don't know. I don't know. There's still that little child in me that gets nervous, gets shy and all of that. But obviously, eventually you get to do it. But I'm just saying, I'm that girl. So share with us. How do you do it? And is there any advice that you can give to someone? Let us know. We will really appreciate that. We'll really appreciate your input. I think it's important for us to, learn from each other. I mean, I'm not saying what I did was great and all that, but there was a lesson learned, and even how I did it, maybe you might feel like, okay, I think you did it right, but maybe you should have done 1, 2, 3, or you should have, maybe you have a tip for us. So you're welcome to comment, real fam, subscribe if you haven't. I'll appreciate that. But I think we can leave it here. What do you think? We can leave it here, and we can close with another affirmation or not? Maybe not, because this video is already long. It's okay. So real fam, with that said, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, and may you continue to make today count. I'm looking at the time and I'm wondering, should I go for a run? It's late at night. I'm tempted to go for a run, but or I'll go in the morning. But in the morning it's cold. Okay, I'll decide. Whatever I do, listen, I'll decide. But we don't usually skip Mondays. I'm recording this on a Monday, but anyway, I'm rambling now. Let me love and leave you, real fam. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate you. Please don't forget to make today count. And remember, real fam, to always give yourself grace. Even when you didn't do things right, continue to give yourself grace. Even when you feel like you could have done better, give yourself grace. Okay? It's okay. You're okay. All right? Love you always, and take care.